What's up guys, it's Advanced Gaming, and today I'm going to be making a tier list of all lightsaber duels in Star Wars. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, first up we have Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. This duel overall wasn't that good. Yeah, it was nostalgic, but that's about it. Next up we have Dooku versus Yoda in Star Wars Episode 2. This was a great duel, but quite short, which limits it to Master tier. Then we have the throne room scene from The Last Jedi. I'm not even going to start explaining this. It doesn't make sense. It's probably one of the worst duels in Star Wars, Youngling tier.
Emotional damage!
Now, Ahsoka versus Anakin in the Ahsoka show, like Ahsoka versus the flashback of Anakin, this was pretty good, and I'll give it Knight. Obi-Wan versus Vader in the Kenobi show, I think that was also a great duel. Now, yes, it didn't need to happen, but it was still a good duel, so I'll give it Knight. Next up, Luke versus Vader in Episode 5. Now, this duel's choreography was terrible, and you can make a case for the choreography being terrible, but it's just, I don't know, I can't get over that, so I'm going to give it, put it over here because it's an important duel, but it's really not that good. Next up, we have Palpatine versus Windu. This duel also gets Knight tier. It could be a lot better. It's an important duel, but I think it really did Mace Windu dirty because he really beat Palpatine fair and square, at least according to George Lucas and the Revenge of the Sith novelization. So I believe he beat him fair and square, and I think that duel did Mace dirty as a character, but we won't get into that. Next up, Palpatine versus Maul and Savage. This is an easy Master of the Order. It was a great duel. Sure, it was in the Clone Wars, so it wasn't that good, but it was great to see Palpatine using two lightsabers and annihilating people. Next, we have Din versus Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian. This is, I'll give it a Knight tier. It really wasn't that good, but it really wasn't that bad either. I'll give it bottom of the Knight tier. Next, Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul in the desert. This really only gets a Padawan. It was way too short to actually be an important duel. I'll put it, I'm going to keep it there. Next we have Obi-Wan and Asajj Ventress versus Maul and Savage in the Clone Wars. This was a pretty good duel. I'm going to give it middle of the Knight tier. Next up we have Duel of the Fates. Everyone knows this goes in Grandmaster. It's one of the best lightsaber duels in Star Wars history. Next, we have Rey versus Kylo in Episode 7. This only gets Padawan tier. The choreography wasn't horrible, but it really wasn't that good, so yeah, I'm just going to, I'll put it at the top of Padawan tier, but I think it really wasn't that good. Next up, there's Rey versus Kylo in Episode 9. That's also going to be in Youngling tier, but it'll be ahead of the throne room scene. Next we have Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Dooku in Star Wars Episode 3. This is also Grandmaster, though not as Grandmaster as Duel of the Fates. Ahsoka versus Maul is a Master as well. It was decent, but I know a lot of people like it, but really I don't think it was that good. Next we have Luke versus Vader in Episode 6. This was a duel that had decent choreography, and it was a very important duel. I'm going to put it ahead of Dooku versus Yoda because of how important it is. Then we have Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Dooku in Episode 2. This gets top of the Padawan tier. It really wasn't that good. It wasn't meant to be good, but you know what, actually I'll put it over here. It wasn't meant to be good, but it still was kind of annoying. Then we have the first Obi-Wan versus Vader duel in the Kenobi show. This gets the bottom of the Padawan tier. It was stupid. Obi-Wan versus Grievous, that's also going to get middle of the Padawan. I'll put it over here, top of Padawan tier. Really wasn't that good. Obi-Wan versus Maul and Rebels. I think that was an important duel, but the choreography wasn't that good, so I'm going to put it, we'll put it here. Then Yoda versus Sidious in Star Wars Episode 3. This gets Grandmaster. Great duel, but we all know that the greatest lightsaber duel in Star Wars is Anakin versus Obi-Wan in Star Wars Episode 3. The choreography, emotional weight, and scenery of that duel was phenomenal, on top of a great soundtrack and great camera angles. Alright guys, that wraps up this video, but if you want to see more Star Wars content, maybe check out the evolution of lightsaber duels throughout the years. I'll see you there.